Logitical Response.
Buckle up, Buttercup. The big lie.
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying that Congress or a mainstream outlet so. Disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote. Oh!
You know, I'm sorry y'all had to sit through that, but I had to sit through it. I wish somebody would have apologized to me, but... Okay, folks. It's getting even more crazy. The hypocrisy in this video is simply nuts. Let's dive in. Before we do that, I need a favor. Hit that subscribe button.
Because today, Baby MAGA signed a bill that allows him to create his own private police force.
And here we go. Now, this person, from everything I've seen from her, would lead me to believe that she's extremely racist, hates white people, from what I can tell. You know, I'm not in her mind, but the way she talks, it sure does come across that way. She calls Florida's governor
Baby MAGA.
What's so wrong with making America great again? Is it because of Donald Trump? No. Election police unit? That's actually not a bad idea. Controversial maybe, but I don't think there's any person in America that would want corrupted elections. Everybody pretty much all the way across the board says, yes, we need voter integrity. People want their votes to count. And with the system we have set up, especially with the Electoral College, it makes it seem like the votes don't count as much as they should. But we need all the integrity in our elections that we can get. That's the only thing that makes democracy work. It's very important how the government works, obviously. But watch where she goes with this. She goes somewhere I didn't think she was going to go with it. It's just completely off the wall.
That is tasked with pursuing alleged election law violations. Just lovely. The big lie will now have its own battalion of goons. I wonder who they'll go after first. I think you can guess. So he's taken away black representation. As you've said, he's taken away the ability of African Americans to vote, and he passed this police force that you know is going to be sicked on black Floridians to intimidate them out of being able to vote.
No, I'm sorry, lady, and with all due respect, you're full of shit. Leave it to a racist from MSNBC to play the race card. Thanks. It's people like you who are the reason that racism is still alive today.
If you own all of Twitter or Facebook or what have you, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates, all of its nominees, or you could just secretly turn down the reach of their stuff and turn up the reach of something else, and the rest of us might not even find out about it till after the election.
Oh, you mean kind of like how Twitter banned Trump and other conservative politicians? A lot of the left-wing news media left out the Hunter Biden deal, had a 4-year-long crusade, Russian hoax that ended up being more fake than Monopoly money? You mean like that?
At a time when authoritarians, insurrectionists, and rogue petrostates are weaponizing disinformation online in a way they've never done so before. Elon Musk says he is buying Twitter to save free speech online. And what he means by that is he wants to push back on efforts to moderate content on these websites.
Yeah, that's generally the idea of free speech. You don't tell people what they can or cannot say. They can say anything they want to.
So when Elon Musk says, wow, this is about free speech, it seems to me that it's about free speech of straight white men.
No, ma'am. He said free speech. He didn't say free speech for white people. Free speech means everybody.
We have just established a mis- and disinformation governance board in the Department of Homeland Security to more effectively combat this threat, not only to election security, but to our homeland security.
You know, I have this weird feeling that Joy Reid would be okay with this ministry of disinformation, but has a problem with Ron DeSantis doing the same thing. This disinformation branch of the government, there is some cause for concern on that, because, you know, if I'm not mistaken, all the people that are always complaining about disinformation put out a lot of disinformation, so they're gonna have to be really careful on what they do, because this is cutting pretty close to killing free speech.
We have so many different efforts underway to equip local communities to identify individuals who very well could be descending into violence by reason of ideologies of hate, false narratives, or other disinformation and misinformation propagated on social media and other platforms.
Most of the disinformation that we've seen, this highly emotionally manipulative content, is coming from the right.
Okay, the person that just made that statement is actually going to be the head of the disinformation ministry. Notice she said coming from the right. Well, that is disinformation, because it comes from both sides, not just the right. It comes from the left. A lot of it comes from the left. So we really need to be careful, and it's already looking like it's off to a bad start. So good luck.
Look at the top 10, most engaged with posts on Facebook or Twitter on a given day. They are usually posts that are coming from the right, and that's because the right does deal in this highly emotional rhetoric. Factors like Russia are using those internal fissures, things like our systemic racism here in the United States.
You know, it's funny. Living in the South, you would think racism would be commonplace, but I haven't ever experienced racism. And you might think, oh, that's crazy, he's white. Well, I have a lot of friends that are brown, and I bet you they would say the same thing. I don't know what systemic racism could be, but I've never seen any evidence of it as far as the area that I live. But I don't see why we can't just drop this whole race thing together, because underneath, everything is the same. Pretty much I view skin color like vehicle paint. You got a Honda Civic that's blue and a Honda Civic that's red. The only thing is the different color.
Things like economic inequality to amplify these issues and really make us distrust the system.
Economic inequality is always going to exist as long as money exists. And as long as try to silence a certain group, there's always going to be mistrust, because you're shutting up one side of an argument or one side of a political system. You can't do that. Everybody has to have a voice, and everybody should have a voice, regardless of what that voice is or what that voice is saying. You cannot discriminate. People have to talk. People have to express their ideas. And if we would all maybe listen a little bit closer and try to find common ground, instead of just completely trying to destroy the other person because they don't believe one thing that you do, we need to learn to all get along. If you sit down and talk with some of these people, you would probably quickly realize that you have a lot in common, and you agree in a lot more places than you disagree.